Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Saturday show here on the Paranormal Portal. That means it's 2 full hours of Saturday fun right here for you, involving the paranormal, of course, supernatural, 40, and all things in between. We're absolutely thrilled you're here with us. Hope things are going good in your world, or at least maybe okay. Depends on your world. There's, of course, always things going on, but I hope you're all finding your smiles, and thank you so much for spending a good portion of your weekend here with us here on the show. So I guess I should tell you right up front, the phones are working again, so if you guys want to call in and be part of tonight's show, call in at 720-923-0500, and you can be a part of the show. You can call in and they'll talk to you about whatever's on your mind, as long as it's paranormal or supernatural in subject, because it's, you know, it kind of sticks to our theme and all that. But anyway, I guess I should let you know that I'm not here alone. I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hello.
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 How you doing?
Hello.
You doing all right?
Hello.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Hey, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, man.
Happy Saturday.
Welcome back to your part of the show.
Yeah, my cold seat.
Well,
your cat's been slacking.
Anubis is keeping it warm most of the time. She does like to, or he does like to lay on there. It's kind of a favorite spot of his. So.
Yeah, I had to evict him earlier, and he hooked me. I'm like, oh, you little.
Well, you know, you are throwing him out of his favorite spot.
Yeah.
He does love that chair. So, everything going good in your world, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Going great. Awesome.
Well, that's good. So, folks, we got a lot on their plate tonight. Lots of great stuff to get to and discuss here on the show. We have many different topics to cover, as usual.
Several many.
Zillions of them, perhaps, but I don't think we'll get time for all of them. But we'll get to what we can throughout the course of our journey. And hello to everybody that's coming into the chat. Great to see you guys, as always. New names, but yeah. Bam's in the TFR chat.
Sweet.
It's just me and Bam over there.
Sweet. Bam's hardcore.
Bam is hardcore, man. He shows up. He represents that TFR crowd for sure. Great to see you, brother. But if you want to be a part of the show, if you're listening to us but you're not seeing us, and on your screen or whatever, you can always tune in to the live stream on youtube.com/paranormal portal. And you can become a part of the chat there. Otherwise, you want to kick back and just relax and listen and chat a little, you can go over to tfrlive.com/chat as well and create a username and passwords and get into the part of the show. Excuse me, jeez.
It's got a little froggy down there.
I think I had the whole family, but it got better, as it were.
But it got better.
But I go better. We are of course. Let's see what. Oh, tomorrow. I just want to make sure to point this out. Tomorrow, stay tuned for if you're a podcast listener, because every Sunday, of course, we release our podcast. Now, point of clarification, because I still get messages from people that are confusing the two. This is not the podcast. This is when we say the Paranormal Portal podcast, we're talking about an entirely different show. Now, there are times on the podcast that you will hear an episode that was aired here on YouTube, but it's just it's something we do once in a while when we feel it's a good show or some great points were represented or something, and we want to share that with our podcast audience as well, because we have a much bigger podcast audience than we have here on YouTube. But, most of the time they are two very distinct and different shows, so... just to put that out there and let you know, but we are releasing a new one tomorrow, so I hope you'll check that out, and you can find our podcast on all the major platforms and places. There's Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Castbox. You said another one the other night.
Audible. We're on Audible.
Audible.
Yeah.
Audible. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of ways to check out the Paranormal Portal in some fashion or another. And, of course, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. And you can become involved in the Paranormal Portal fans group on Facebook as well. I don't have the direct link, so I can't say.
Let me see if I can find it.
If Don can find it, he'll post it in the YouTube chat. And you guys can see it there. But, Wandering Newcomer came in to the TFR Live chat. So good to see you there. And we've got more and more coming into the YouTube chat. But... did you find that link?
Oh, not yet. Sorry, I had to.
Sorry to bug you.
I'm working my way.
Sorry,
there.
Don. Did I wake you?
I'm just here.
Yeah, that's all right. When and if that link comes. Any good news besides Paranormal Portal time? I don't know. It depends on what you mean by good news. I'm not sure of any personally.
I've been cleared of my brain symptoms.
I don't know. Some new ones might be emerging.
Oh, no, they're just the personality.
Yeah.
It's called Portal Peeps.
Portal Peeps?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/groups/Portal Peeps.
Portal Peeps. So there you go. That's another group of...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's kind of cool. I like that you can remember it. Hold on.
Yeah, Portal Peeps is pretty simple.
I love memorable names because I can't do the...
Like Esole.
Yeah. Or, like some of the articles I read, it's all these weird names. It's like... I just see a bunch of consonants and syllables jumping out at me. It's like,
how do you pronounce those 4 consonants together?
I know.
Shuck.
Like a word like Quetzalcoatl or whatever. And it looks nothing like that's what it sounds like, Those are the ones that really trip me up. But anyway, so we got a lot to get into tonight. We hope you will enjoy the show. And we hope that if you enjoy the show, you will like and subscribe if you're looking on YouTube. And you will share the show with your social media groups or friends that are into the paranormal as well. The Paranormal Portal is a talk show. It's not, here's a spooky story. Here's another spooky story. Here's a story of this. Here's a story of that. There's also dialogue. We have dialogue about this stuff. So it's not just a channel that regurgitates a bunch of articles or things and that's it. We weigh in on them. We discuss it.
I give my opinion.
Don does. He does regularly do that. So there's always several elements to the show. So I hope if you like that, you'll spread the word and let other people know, because we're really relying on you guys to make the portal a bigger phenomena. It's tough to get noticed, Brent, as Homer Simpson. Oh, thanks. Ethan always does that every time I do a Homer impression. I know it's a talent, folks, but it's one that I can get paid for.
Look right above that one. The unknown says no bad nudes.
No bad nude.
NEWD, nudes.
Yeah, no.
I think he means news.
We mean nudes, not nudes or nude. All right, so 38 degrees inside the air conditioning. 130 Sunday, 38 degrees inside with the air conditioning. Eliza's saying that's, I don't know where she is. That sounds hot. 180 degrees is like, isn't water nearly boil there?
Have another 30, good to go. Well,
all right.
That might be 38 Celsius.
I know, but if it's 180 Celsius.
That'd be crazy.
She's representing two of them, then keep me. Adelaide, Australia. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
For she's Ramos.
Wow, we got another Aussie listener. Hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, you're all excited about Oz. What about all the other places?
Where?
Well, like, Marilena is from
South
South
Africa.
Africa. We've got several from the UK and
Yes, we do.
Australia and New Zealand.
And I appreciate and love each and every one of you.
Water boils at 212, says Titan. Thanks for that clarification. I knew it was in that neighborhood. I didn't remember the exact temp, but I knew it was hot.
The perfect temperature for ice cream is 35, by the way.
35?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That way it's scoopable.
Gotcha. So, that brick that I pull out is
You're like...
apparently a little over-chilled. Yeah. It comes off in like shards. Hey, put that in a cone.
Didn't mean to puncture through the bucket.
I know. Yeah, you get the spoon through the side. It's like, God, oh, jeez. Yeah.
You got to scoop it and you go...
Yeah. Well,
crap.
I did hear, though, and this is trivial, has nothing to do with the paranormal, but it might help you all, for all you ice cream lovers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, if you put your ice cream in a paper bag in the freezer, it'll keep it at the perfect temperature. Is that true? I don't know. Hell, I don't know. I just saw it on the internet, so it must be, right?
35.
Well, that's what you
enough
said.
to keep everything frozen except your ice cream.
Gotcha. Okay. You're kind of serious about this.
I am. It's my ice cream.
All right.
And perfect temperature for a mocha is 135. So there you go.
All right. Well, if this is the Food Network, that would mean a lot more to me. But since it's the Paranormal Portal, let's get to the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk, and I've got some new news for you tonight. We went over some news last night. Pretty much every 2-hour show, we cover some news articles and things that I find interesting. I hope you share in that excitement and belief that these are interesting stories. You have to let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Not in the chat necessarily, because I won't see it probably. But the first article of news tonight is coming from animalien.com, and it speaks of a sunken pyramid of Atlantis found at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I think that's pretty cool. I don't know that that's true. Sounds like a lot of supposition, but I mean, if there's a pyramid on the bottom of the ocean, that does kind of sound like it might be. Right, Don?
Sounds like it. But consider the ideas of the lost city of Atlantis, or, why did that name just go right on my head? Starts with an L. Lemuria.
Okay.
So, I mean, come on. There's got to be some truth to it.
There's some, every legend I think is based on some kind of truth. And no, the interesting thing is that as far as I knew by Plato's discussion of Atlantis, it was 3 rings of layers or whatever.
An atoll.
Huh?
Atolls. It was an atoll.
Oh, an atoll.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was rings of atolls.
Okay, gotcha. So it was atolls, but I don't know how a pyramid fits into that as far as what references we do have to what possibly Atlantis looked like, but let's read it. Near the coast of Portuguese Azores, underwater pyramidal structure with the height of 60 meters and the base of about 8,000 square meters was discovered, reports Daily Star. Researchers have suggested that the pyramid is proof of the once flourishing mythical city of Atlantis. Portuguese Navy went to the site to inspect the underwater object. This find was made in the Atlantic Ocean by the local sailor Diocleciano Silva, who was looking for suitable fishing grounds to do this. He used a special scanner which detected a strange underwater structure. The place where the pyramidal structure is located is covered with water for about 20,000 years. This period coincides with the last ice age at the northern hemisphere, when the glaciers began to melt 2,000 years ago. According to experts, whoever lived in these places before the Ice Age is the builder of this ancient pyramids. Yeah, that stands to reason. Is that how that works? Gosh. Oh, okay. I got it now. The base of the pyramid is about 8,000 square meters, and the height is 60 meters. Earlier Portuguese archaeologists found evidence that people actually lived in the Azores many thousands of years ago.
Gee.
This confirms the hypothesis that the ancient civilization that existed in this region could have erected the discovered pyramid. Okay. According to Greek mythology, the island of Atlantis sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean due to the fact that the gods were angry with people. For the first time about Atlantis 2,300 years ago, the philosopher Plato mentioned in his notes, who called it the lost city of Atlantis. In Greek mythology, the island of Atlantis sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean after falling out of favor with the gods. Yeah, that's kind of redundant. It was first mentioned by the famous philosopher.
Wow, okay.
All right. It was first mentioned by the famous philosopher Plato more than 2,300 years ago and is often referred to as the lost city of Atlantis. Do you know what this looks like? Okay, this looks like something that was translated, like by Google Earth, and this looks like something they put into more modern English, you know.
Or it was the ones on the bottom where what they originally wrote, and then they went, well, that doesn't sound good, and they forgot to delete them.
Right, that's what my point is. It's like, okay. But anyway, is that possibly a structure of ancient Atlantis? Obviously, we don't know. There's so much more to understand about all of this, but it's very interesting. If there's huge pyramids under the ocean,
Yeah.
I don't know how deep they are, though. It doesn't really say how deep under the ocean this pyramid is, but that's a hell of a discovery either way. I know there's claims off of Japan that there are sunken ruins as well, but some people are insisting that those are just geological abnormalities that look like they were hewn stone, but that they in fact are just natural stone structures that fragmented in such a way as they look like blocks. Maybe not. I don't know. But this is another one of those such things. Again, I think there's a whole secret history that we either don't know or is being somehow repressed or suppressed, and we're left with the Stone Age, Bronze Age, et cetera, kind of history that we've come to accept in our modern world. And I think the story is so much bigger than all that. But anyway, that's the first article tonight in our stories of news. Let's see what other one I can dig up here, Don. Because I got some ready.
Sweet. Sweetie.
No, I'm fine. Thank you. This one's coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. It says, was the Betz mystery sphere an alien device? Now, this is something I've heard mention of many times. I don't know why I got jewelry showing up here. I should have loaded this in Brave. But anyway, this object is like a metal sphere, but it was really kind of a mysterious sphere. I don't remember the backstory on it, but I know I heard about it long ago. A strange metallic sphere found near the home of a family in Florida sparked a decades-long mystery. The strangeness began in 1974 when the Betz family of George Island, Florida, discovered a mysterious metal sphere in their garden shortly after a fire had destroyed their property. Believing it to be a cannonball from some historical battle, they decided to keep it. However, it soon became clear that the object, which was suspiciously pristine, was not what it seemed. They later reported that the sphere had started to behave peculiarly, reacting to guitar playing and emitting a throbbing noise and changing direction when being rolled across the floor. The family dog was also said to whimper and react in fear of the object. Eventually, the U.S. military got their hands on the sphere, and according to one analysis, there were radio waves coming from it and magnetic field around it. However, initial attempts to X-ray it proved futile due to the metal being too thick to penetrate. Even UFO researcher J. Allen Hynek got a chance to examine it, but he, along with the military experts, all concluded that the object was most likely just man-made. This didn't stop it from being billed as an extraterrestrial device by the media, however, and it was later discovered that the stainless steel sphere happened to be a perfect match for a component kept in stock by a Jacksonville equipment supply company. Its erratic movements, it was argued, were more likely due to the uneven floor at the family's newly rebuilt house rather than due to any unusual properties of the sphere itself. Even so, to this day, the sphere continues to remain a topic of debate and intrigue. Well, there you go. So the mystery sphere.
What would be the, God dang it.
Would that be a bearing?
I don't know. I was
Like
just
a huge-
wondering. That would be a huge bearing. What the heck would it go on?
I don't know.
A Dyson sphere?
It's used to help block sunlight and keep its energy.
It reflects the gas swamps from Uranus.
Oh, hey.
Swamp
maybe
gases from Uranus.
Uranus. I don't know. It's peculiar, but if it was just solid, I mean, did it weigh as much as it should have if it was just solid metal? There's so much that isn't known, but Like, what is the sphere? What did it look like? Were there any seams? Was there anything visible on it, or is it non-visible? I don't know. That is peculiar, but maybe it was something from out of this world. Maybe it was from somewhere else, right, Don?
Yeah, I say yeah.
I mean, if it was emitting radio waves and had an electromagnetic field around it, that's not what you'd normally expect.
Right.
I wouldn't think. But the whole changing of direction, well, it could just be uneven flooring. Most houses are nowhere near like true flat surfaces. They're all very wavy. I used to install countertops, and you'd be amazed. Even the $1 million houses, there'd be there'd be such variation in their flat walls when you're trying to mount a countertop up to it. It's like, oh my God, they paid how much for this? It's like a kid with some Legos could have done so much better.
So let's see here. So it says bowling ball, skeptoid. Yeah, I'm trying to find what part it's supposed to be.
Yeah, especially being a perfect fit. What for what? Yeah. That's not discussed. I mean, hell, it could be something to do with nuclear reactors. You don't know. And maybe that's a technology they didn't want to talk about. But I don't know either, brother. But that's some more of the news. And I got more yet. So let's see what else I can dig up here from the news pile. And the one that's next is, and these accounts are coming out a lot in the Illinois area. And I'm not sure if this is the Illinois area or not. But for those of you who are fans of the Mothman, you might find this kind of interesting. And this is witness recounts winged creature encounter. Yeah, there it is, Illinois again. 3 people had been driving in northeastern Illinois when they saw a flying creature with human proportions. The encounter, which was recently featured in an article on the Singular Fortean Society's website, occurred back in July of 2008 and was submitted to the organization by one of the 3 witnesses. The trio, a man named Ryan, his husband, a man named Ryan, okay, his husband, and a mutual friend, okay, I got it, had been driving home from O'Hare International Airport to Dubuque, Iowa, when they noticed something strange in the sky. I was looking off to the left and saw a winged creature fly above the crops on the left side and fly straight across the road several yards in front of us. Ryan wrote in an email. It disappeared over the field on the right side of the road, and it had a wingspan of several feet. I did not see what the body looked like, and the other people in the car saw it, but said it was just a large bat. It was much larger than a bat. The way it flew was more like a large bird or an eagle, but it was gray and black. In a telephone interview with investigator Tobias Wayland, he clarified that the sighting had taken place in a semi-rural area somewhere to the south of Wisconsin. Well, there could be a lot of it. It was about this human-sized, maybe smaller than 6 feet. He said of the creature, the wings were maybe the length of a human's arms, but a bit wider, maybe 5 or 6 feet. I saw a body shape like a human type of shape, human proportions, basically. Then the wings were the main things I saw. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen wings on something flying that big. You can view the full report in the source link below. And I would recommend checking out the Singular Fortean Society as well. We've used that many times on the show. The Waylands do a phenomenal job.
They do.
Yeah. And it's, we'll have to revisit that one once in a while. I've kind of gotten onto this, but there's several other sources, of course. We could do just a news show and fill 2 hours very easily. But lots of reports coming from Illinois, folks, on these weird winged beings that seem to be very similar to what people described as the Mothman, such as occurred in Point Pleasant during that whole phenomena back then. So is it more of the same things? Is it something else? I don't know. But they're out there, folks. Many people believe they're out there. So we're bringing it to you because that's what we do here on the portal. All right, and I have one more piece of news. How are we doing on time? 3 minutes. I don't know if I can do it. You know what? I'll bring this one up on the other side. So I'll close out the news here because I don't think I can. Well, no, I can probably do this one. It's 3 minutes. A quick little article, and then we're going to go to break. This is predictions from a psychic who's known as Baba Vanga. Baba Vanga's predictions for 2021 revealed. The blind mystic's predictions for the next 12 months sadly don't sound much better than this year's, which was 2020. Vanga, who was born in Bulgaria in 1911 and died in 1996, aged 85, spent most of her life in the Kudzu Mountains and was renowned the world over for her prophetic predictions about the future. While a great deal of skepticism was always surrounded the accuracy of these predictions, many people remain adamant that she had successfully foretold a wide range of major global events. For 2020, she predicted several things, including that there would be a tsunami in China, that someone would try to assassinate Russian President Vladimir Putin, and that the President of the United States would suffer from some sort of health issue, which could be a reference to Trump getting COVID-19. It's currently no secret that this year has been pretty dire. However, it seems that Vanga's predictions for 2021 aren't much better, assuming there is any truth to them at all. For the next 12 months, she predicted a lot of cataclysms and great disasters, as well as 3 giants uniting with a strong dragon. Oh, God, that sounds totally like the whole political sphere, right? Which some have speculated is a reference to China. Yeah, that's exactly. Difficult times will come, she said. We are witnessing devastating events that will change the fate and destiny of humanity. On a more positive note, she also seemed to suggest that scientists would find a cure for cancer, and the day will come when cancer will get tied with iron chains, she said. Could there be any truth to these predictions? Only time will tell. Basing that on the fact that she got so much wrong, I don't think there was any attempt on Putin's life that I heard of. Did you, Don?
No.
I didn't either. So I would have to say that I wouldn't give it too much veracity, but the claims are there. So
Unless she means that he would basically, as a portent to him losing an election.
Well, she was talking about Putin.
Well, yeah.
Did he lose an election?
I don't know. Did we interfere with their elections? I don't know.
Who knows? I think we're interfering with everything as it goes. But that's going to be the news, folks. So let's get back to the show. All right, folks, we are back at the normal desk of the Paranormal. I just get a kick out of that. Sorry, I'm easily amused. I can't help it. But we are going to go to break here in just a second. So first break of the night. Lots more of the portal to come, so don't go away. We're going to be finishing an article I started last night, which by many requests I'm supposed to finish. So I'll do that, and we'll get into the rest of the show. So don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, second half hour is now officially begun here on the Paranormal Portal. And as such, well, we'll bring you more paranormal. That's what we do here. We'll just whip out another batch of paranormal. Y'all just pull up a chair there and make yourself comfortable.
Oh, my.
You gotta amuse yourself, don't you? Don't you, Don? I mean, not trying to get too personal or anything. But sorry.
I find myself amusing.
Amusing?
Amusing.
All right. So we got more to go through here. Oh, okay. What is this? What did you send me?
Oh, you know what? It's not quite what I thought.
Oh.
It was entitled 7 Things That Fell to Earth in 2020.
Oh.
And come to find out, it's got a couple, like, it talks about the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that great. It's not that great. Never
Okay.
mind.
Yeah.
So just never mind.
Never mind. All right. So last night, ladies and gentlemen, we were covering a story, an article by Brent Swanser, best known for his work, I think, on mysteriousuniverse.org. He's a very prolific paranormal journalist who's done work for other sites before that, but he currently is headlines quite often on mysteriousleague.org. His articles are brilliant. A great guy, and if you want to get involved with him and his work, he has a group on Facebook called Dark League Paranormal. So go over to Facebook and do a search for that, and you'll find he in the group over there. Great bunch of people. But the article we were reading last night, which I'd kind of ran out of time for just because that's the way the nights roll, but it's some truly outlandish encounters with reptilian humanoids. And we'd covered several. And this is one that I partially was able to read but couldn't finish. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, reread a little bit, and then we'll get into the conclusion of this article, and then we'll get on to the other stuff. But where we're going to start is a very odd encounter comes to us from 1993 from a witness who says this happened at Atlantic Coast Beach and in the United States, where one evening she was was out for a leisurely stroll. There had been no one else around at the time, and she thought she was alone until she noticed a group of people some distance up the beach. At this point, she thought nothing of it and just kept walking, drawing ever nearer to those people and slowly realizing that there was something very off about them. The first thing she noticed was that they were all bald. They had unusual attire for the beach, which was composed of camouflage tan and green military BDUs and tan vests with many pockets, and as she got closer still, she could see that these figures were not human. She says, though their general appearance was humanoid, they walked on 2 legs, and they were clearly not human. While their skin was mostly green, they moved with a sharp, keen alertness, more akin to the movement of nervous iguanas. I could see that they were all male and apparently soldiers of some sort. We stared at each other, and I could clearly discern their reptilian appearance. Their reluctance to approach me, the hesitation, and the nervousness, it just felt dangerous. The reptilian leading the group came forwards towards me, and I continued walking at my regular pace toward him. Our eyes connected and did not disengage during the entire incident. I remained alert and aware throughout the event, and the remainder of his group stayed behind. He and I continued to approach each other until we were less than 1 yard apart. He stood at least 6 feet tall, medium build, no hair, eyes the same size as mine, but a brightly colored yellow, with dark vertical slits, and his skin was rough and scaly with greenish-brown hue. And there is a depiction on this article. I guess I can do this because it's let the 2 people on TFR see it. All right, there it is. And kind of looks like a watermelon. Just kidding. Doesn't look like a watermelon. But
Where's Gallagher when you need him?
I know. This is already a pretty outlandish as it is, but it manages to get even weirder as the reptilian then is claimed to have made some sort of telepathic contact with the witness. She says of this, as we looked intently into each other's eyes, I knew he was accessing a computer bank in his mind, one that was not his individual database, but a group mind sharing the same knowledge. Quite suddenly, his expression changed, and I first saw this in his eyes, to one of contemptuous tolerance. In other words, there was some reason he was forced to tolerate my presence. But he wasn't happy about it. Accessing that database in his mind gave him the information he sought, and then he knew me by name. With recognition, he said, "Oh, hello, Bonnie." And we shook hands while he frowned contemptuously.
Huh.
My eyes never left his, and his eyes never left mine. I smiled, as I always do, and turned around to walk away. He also turned back to his group, and they walked up the beach away from me. This report is so off the wall as almost to be absurd, and it leaves one wonder just what was going on here, or if it even really happened at all. It is certainly one of the stranger reptilian reports that I have seen, and that is saying something. I suppose it is. He's probably seen quite a few. But getting on into the more recent years, we have an even more far-out encounters. One of these was recorded on Cryptozoology News and comes from 2014 from a witness who says that he had been out mountain biking with some friends out in the Sonoran Desert in Tucson, Arizona at the time of their encounter. They had been out biking along a fairly remote trail called Old Pueblo Racecourse when they stopped for a break and then noticed something rather odd out in the track ahead. One of the witnesses, a G. Johnson, describes what they saw and what happened thusly. All of a sudden, we see this long figure walking across the trail. He's maybe 6 feet tall, very skinny, and had an awkward gait, like a monkey or a man with a disease, almost robotic, kind of. He stopped, and it made eye contact with me, and I could see him clearly. His eyes were kind of like a snake's, but black and with a yellow stripe in the middle of the eye. It had green and red scales on the face and head. The red color was kind of like the same as the desert sand there, and it looked like it had a sandy texture too. It didn't have a nose, but only two holes on it. I couldn't see any ears or hair. A red mouth that looked like it had blood around it, and it didn't look like it was bleeding. It looked like a pattern, and it reminded me of a chameleon. But it looked like a person, too. He looked like he was examining us, and then he ran into the desert. We thought about going back the same way we came, but we thought it didn't matter since we were in the middle of the track anyway. We were scared, to be honest. None of us had ever seen anything like it. It lasted only a few seconds, but it felt longer than that, at least to me. So is that a depiction of it? I don't know. Maybe. But that's horrible. Jeez. There were 2 separate reports from 2016 as well. One of these being from a witness in Los Banos, California. Isn't it Los Banos?
Does that mean lost bathroom?
I don't know.
Oh, that's Banyo. Okay, never mind.
Who gave his report to the National UFO Reporting Center, which is New Force. And he says that in July of 2016, he was driving from San Francisco down to San Diego, along with his friend and her friend's son, and they were southbound on I-5 freeway, headed through a very barren area, which is all monotonous grassy hills and rugged scrubland with no buildings and no one around for miles. And one of them suddenly pointed out something ahead, and there, walking along the side of the freeway, was a person wearing a thick black monk/death-looking robe with a big hood. Despite the fact that it was a sweltering hot day, he says that they were all wondering who that character could be and why was he out in the middle of nowhere with a thick hooded robe on in the stifling heat. And as they passed, she had to get a look at the person's face, and it was then that he was shocked to see that it wasn't a person at all. And he says, so we passed it, and I had to get a good look at this person's face. So when I looked at it, it looked back at me. And what I saw chilled me to the bone. In this dark, heavy hooded robe was a being that looked nothing human. It had brownish green scales and a short snout, and its eyes were large and blackish that glistened in the sun. It was unmistakable even at about 100 feet away, and it looked right at me with no expression. It wasn't carrying anything or have any equipment with it, and it was just walking slowly and awkwardly, as if it were looking for something. I was so scared to death, especially when it looked right at me. I thought maybe we should pull over and confront this thing, but honestly, I was frozen, and we kept driving. I had asked my friend if she had seen what I had seen, and her 12-year-old son in the back of the car, and they verified the same thing. I'm not sure if other vehicles traveled down that road with us is witnessing this sighting, but it did happen. and I am willing to swear an oath on it. New Force claims that they did a follow-up by telephone with the witness and that they came away with the impression that he was a reliable witness, impressed with his eloquence and apparent sincerity. Also in 2016 is an account from Phantoms and Monsters from a witness who saw some sort of lizard humanoid as he was driving north on I-55 near Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana. I don't know. I'm just guessing at that. But at approximately 11:15 in the evening, he was apparently driving home along a rather dark and lonely road when something came flying out of the night to etch itself into his memory. He says, about 100 yards ahead, I saw something crossing the highway from my left to my right. When my headlights lightened it up, I swear I saw a walking lizard man. It walked like a human on its feet, and it was greenish-brown, shiny skin. The huge, thick tail was prominent and reached the roadway. The body was that of a man, same arms, same legs and head, maybe 6 feet tall, and it swiftly crossed the highway. I lost track of it when I passed by. I still can't believe what I saw. Look at that face. Oh, my God. That's the stuff of nightmares for sure. Hey. Of course, with such a range of surreal accounts, we're left with not really much to go on in terms of a pat answer. And the phenomenon of reptilian humanoids has seen all manner of ideas and speculation tossed around. One idea are that these are species of alien, and indeed reptilians are often mentioned right up along with their more common gray aliens of popular culture. There's also the notion that these are creatures passing over from some sort of other dimension, crashing into our world to startle and frighten before phasing back out to from whence they came. In some reports, this might be indicative of some sort of unidentified mystery creature that has eluded scientists or relic populations of bipedal dinosaurs. These could also be thought forms or images brought to reality from our own minds called tulpas, and which can appear as anything the mind can conjure up. Other more fringe ideas include that there are some sort of trickster spirits messing around with our heads. Of course, maybe there's nothing to it at all, and it is all just tall tales. No one really knows, and as long as reptilian humanoid reports continue to come in with an absence of any real evidence, we'll probably be doomed to a limbo of pure speculation for some time to come.
You think?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Bring me DNA,
Sure, they just give that stuff out, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're reptiles. They must shed, right?
Well, maybe they do. Maybe they molt.
I don't know.
Maybe it looks like...
Yes, Ruthie. Call in, Ruthie. 720-923-0500.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We love all kinds of opinions on this stuff.
Apparently, she offered to, or she wanted to call in last night.
Oh, well, she should have. The phones worked then, too.
Come on.
But they work now, so if you want to call in, please do so. 720-923-0500. Those are the numbers for fun. Right here on the Paranormal Portal. Thank you very much. And I don't see a call. So
Not yet.
Not yet. There is a delay, though, isn't there? That's true. She's probably only hearing you right now. I'm not sure how many second delay it is, but I know what happens. So I don't know what you guys feel, but I'll tell you this, that it is very accurate in his article that descriptions really do seem to vary. Like, people have seen them allegedly coming out of UFOs and stuff and going back in, and then there's the other ones that are kind of just observed out in the middle of nowhere and just seem disconnected from anything else. So, by reptilian, you think of our definition of reptilian. There's alligators, there's snakes, there's turtles, there's frogs, there's so many manner, there are iguanas and chameleons, etc., etc. There's hundreds of examples of and thousands of examples of what reptilian means. So is it possible that there's a diversity in these reports as well? That these all just aren't the same thing? Kind of like what we have come to understand with the Bigfoot phenomena. It's like, well, it looks like a Bigfoot, it must be Bigfoot. Well, not if it has a snout, not if it has digigrade legs, right, like a wolves or dogs. That's a dog man. That even though it looks big and hairy, it's not a Bigfoot. It shares similar features in several instances, but they are two very distinct phenomena as far as we can tell. So could that be true also of reptilians? invade the paranormal portal, y'all. Take over the channel. I don't know what you do with it, Ethan. What would you do on there? Sometimes I'd say go ahead, believe me. But it's a labor of love. The portal is always a labor of love. But that's the thing. Are these people seeing some of the different types that could be out there?
Right.
Because there's nothing to say. There's only one type of reptilian, and everybody's seeing the same thing.
Right.
Because there's certainly differences, not discrepancies, but differences in physical descriptions of these things. So I think that's pretty interesting. Wouldn't you agree, Don?
I would agree. And because when you talk about reptilian aliens, specifically reptilian aliens, you also have to talk about like the difference between the draconians and the other ones.
Sure.
So there's the small reptilians that are man-sized, and then you've got the draconians that are much larger. So
it says no data. What the hell?
What?
I'm just looking here. It says no data.
I don't know, but there's a phone call.
There is a phone call. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
Let's get it.
There it is.
All right, and this is area code 626. You're on the air. You're on the paranormal portal. Are you there?
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted. You're live.
Oh, good. Oh, hi. Yeah, I was having trouble with Ruthie. I was having trouble calling in.
Oh, were you? Well, that's good to know because
Yeah,
I've been having lots of trouble with the phone lines. So you're the first person to call in since they've been working again. So it's also good to know that it is working.
Oh, it's raining down here. Usually when it rains, it messes up with my phone lines too because I'm on the foothills.
Oh, sure.
But
Okay.
yeah, I have a story. I have two, but I think one I'm going to leave out because it's kind of really, really creepy. But both reptilian stories.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear them.
I'm kind of nervous to tell it because it's really, really creepy.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, the first one is something that happened to my niece.
Okay.
We were living in Pasadena at the time, a little ways out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just built the Gold Line, which was the electric train here in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And she was going to work, spent a whole day, I guess, working really hard, was coming home. She was sitting behind a gentleman that was wearing a trench coat. And everyone was pretty tired. And they came to a stop, and almost everybody left the one section of the train. And it was just her and this gentleman sitting in the train.
Oh.
And she was tired. She put her head down. She kind of was staring at the seat where he was sitting. And I swear to God, she said, all of a sudden, this huge tail fell out of his coat.
Oh,
this
God.
huge grayish yellow tail, just kind of like he let down his guard.
Oh, geez.
And it's so scary. I swear, it's so scary. She told me first before she told anyone else.
Uh-huh.
And she said she thought she was going to die. It was like her heart stopped, and she just stared at it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the guy turned around and looked at her, but he had a human face.
Oh.
And he closed his eyes and kind of gave her this look like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he tucked his tail back into his coat. Oh, my God. She wanted to get out of the train, but it was going, and she thought, oh, no, I didn't really see this.
Uh-huh.
So when they came to the next stop, he got out. And he didn't look at her. He just got out,
Mm-hmm.
and his tail was tucked. She got home shaking, and she told her mom, which is my sister, my little sister.
Uh-huh.
My sister called me and said, you got to talk to my daughter. She just saw the weirdest thing on the train, and you're the only one that's going to believe her.
Uh-huh.
And, so that was really scary. I've talked to her about this story just recently.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't want to remember it. It freaked her out so much. She's like, oh, I don't really remember any of that happening. I said, yes, you do, girl. You remember because you were so scared. You were almost crying.
Wow.
So this took place in Pasadena in Southern California.
Wow.
There's a lot of them here.
There's lots of stories. There's lots of stories of them there. That's true. Even in the story I just finished reading, California came up, once or twice throughout that whole article. And I've heard reports of possibly the sewers being at least a network of tunnels that these things use.
Well, some of them cloak.
Yeah.
We were talking about cloaking last night on on the chat in the chat room,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of what one of my books talks about that I wrote about cloaking. But some of them, God, I'm so scared to say this on the radio because a lot of people don't believe that they can do that. I have personal. I'm really nervous saying this. I have personal experience
Uh-huh.
being married to somebody for a few years, and oh God, I'll tell the story, but I swear it is real. Okay.
Oh, I believe
This
you.
is before I knew anything about reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
It's before I ever started my spiritual journey on a serious note.
Okay.
Been married to this guy for a while. Very good looking. German, Romanian.
Okay.
He could have been a model. Okay. Well, we were married, and I happened to be coming back into the bedroom from getting up to get a drink of water. It was the middle of the night. And I was coming back into the room to get in bed. And I took a double take because what was laying in bed sleeping was not my husband.
Oh.
Ooh. Wow.
I know. I freaked out. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And it was a reptile. I could draw the face.
Really?
He was gray. Oh, yeah, really. I mean, I was just shaking. I wanted to get in the car and drive to my mom's. And I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm just really tired. But I was so scared that I slept in the living room. I didn't even go back into the bedroom.
Did you ever address this
And
with him?
No, I never did.
Okay.
And, well, actually, I didn't for quite some time. I won't say never.
Okay.
But I told him, and he started laughing. He says, you're crazy. And I was like, no, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I know what I saw.
Wow.
And okay, now it's on the air. I've only told my little sister and my best friend that I have now. I've never told anybody this. So I'm shaking just telling you about it.
Well,
But it was interesting, my life with him, when I finally ended up leaving him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just so shocking. I just almost lost my breath. I was just like, oh my God. Well, I know there are good reptilians and the evil reptilians.
Okay.
And there are a whole lot of them here that live in California, but there's a lot of them that are actually taking on human form.
Okay.
But when they let down their cloaking, you can see them. In fact, I see them now. I don't want to see them,
Right.
but I do sometimes see through their I like to say, disguise.
So can I ask you a question?
Okay.
So do you...
You can tell I'm nervous.
No, you're doing great. I think your story is absolutely amazing. The thing that I'm curious about is, did your niece see this on the train after your relationship with this gentleman?
Well, I was with this guy for about 16 years.
Okay.
Yes. I think this happened in 2006 or 2005.
Okay. So,
So we had already broken up. But
okay.
I used to babysit her when we were, when I was still married to him, and he loved her. We would always take her places when she was really young.
Oh, see,
So
what I'm
he was a big part of the family.
right. And what I'm wondering is it possible that he was, and this is absolutely wild speculation on my part, but trying to put a narrative to this, but is it possible that he and his, quote unquote people could still be keeping tabs on you and the family, because
Hell yeah.
it did
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
This is really deep. I should probably talk to you about it privately on the phone.
Sure.
But
Yep.
he was courting me at my root chakra for about 25 years.
Wow.
And I finally got that cord cut.
Okay.
Yeah, it's intense.
That is intense.
A lot of them are narcissists.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why they fit in good here.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
But I suspect they're around. Like I tell you, sometimes I sit at my window and I see the spirits walking by. Mm-hmm. The other night, it was so beautiful here. I think it was 2 nights ago I took a picture. Mm-hmm. And I sensed a lot of peace here, but there's a lot of stuff going on here where I live in Glendora.
Okay.
In California. But they're showing themselves more to the people that can see.
Wow.
And I really don't want to see them. I
No.
really don't want to see them.
I understand.
The dog sees them too. The dog is very aware of
Yeah,
spirits and
I've noticed that
other life forms.
my cat Anubis is doing a lot more strange looking around the rooms, and there's no bugs in here because it's cold, you know. So there's really no bugs anywhere
Yeah.
right now, except for some little itty bitty fruit flies every once in a while if I get bananas. But he's been doing that, and it's caught my eye several times. Like, what is he actually seeing? Because he's very intense. But I guess that's our break, Ruthie. Do you want to hold on the line, or was
Okay.
that it?
Sure, if you want. It's up to you.
Yep, just hold on the line. We'll be right back after the break, folks. Don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal in just a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms of
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace the lines upon my body, ripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking all the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet.
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Yes, they can, folks. And the Paranormal Portal will too, hopefully. Especially with your help. If you keep spreading the word, letting other people know about us. If you're brand new to the show and you like what you're seeing and experiencing, please get subscribed, hit the likes, and click the notification bells if you're checking us out on YouTube. So we are in mid-call with our listener Ruthie, who's on the line talking about reptilians and experiences she's had and her family has also had. So Ruthie, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
I'm still here.
You're
Okay.
doing amazing. And first of all, I want to thank you because I know it wasn't easy for you to share that, but I think that is absolutely amazing and kind of frightening and very bizarre and it just makes you wonder just how many of them are out there, you know. But we've got a couple of questions from the chat. The first,
Oh, okay, good.
Titan was asking where you lived. Was it warmer? Did you notice that he liked it warmer in the house? Did you notice any peculiarities like that?
He was a character. That's what I was attracted to in the first place. That he was an artist, very creative.
Okay.
He had lived in North Dakota for a while in Oregon, and he liked the colder weather.
Ugh.
But these days he likes the warmer weather. He's lived all over the world.
Oh.
I don't know, nothing really different.
Okay.
Just that he was a very creative soul, and he was very good at what he did.
And the other question was, did you ever meet the family, and did you notice anything off about them, or were they pretty normal?
Oh, all the guys. There were no sisters. It was all the guys were all narcissists.
Oh.
And I could never figure out why these guys would treat the girls so bad, because I knew all the girlfriends. Just kind of, they all felt entitled.
Oh, okay.
And they would blame the women for the problems in the relationship. Well, I thought that was very strange.
Mm-hmm. That is very strange.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I love the family. They were, they were good people, except for that, strangeness they had.
right. I just think it's really interesting when you mentioned your niece's experience with seeing the tail fall out and stuff, and the almost apologetic look from the person. It was like, oh, sorry you saw that. I mean, what an opportunity, though. I mean, obviously it's an incredibly shocking experience, but if it could have been bridged from there just to a dialogue, like, what are you guys doing here? What's going on? Your secret's safe with me, kind of thing. But
does that happen often?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's so many things that just this pile of questions flows into my mind of things that I would hope to be able to ask.
Well, I met another one in Upland when I lived out there. He worked at a Walgreens, believe it or not.
Okay.
And when I first met him, he was the sweetest man. He was like a really nice reptilian, and I could see that he was reptilian, but he didn't know at first that I could see.
Oh.
And we would have conversations all the time, and he was the nicest guy. And we got into this conversation one day about him he wanted to go and join the Marines or something.
Oh.
And this was back in 2016 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this deep spiritual kind of conversation, which I thought was really cool for a reptilian.
Yeah.
I haven't been out that way in a while, but yeah, I could see through him. He was more of an orange color,
Okay.
yellowish orange reptilian. Yeah, there's different colors.
Well,
But the sweetest guy. I mean,
Mhm.
he would remember my name, and I would end up going to Walgreens in the middle of the night to get phone hours back then, and that's when he worked, like at night. It was a 24-hour Walgreens.
Okay.
And I'm a night person, so I like going out at night.
Yeah, me too. I like being awake in the night and stuff. But another question that I have is, what do you think? Is it possible that there is an entire scope of these reptilian things out there, much like I was talking about a little bit ago? Are there huge variations on different reptilians, or do you think it's mostly one general race, but they might have little individual differences?
Oh, I have no idea. I have heard that there are two separate types, meaning just there's some have their hearts that are open and awakened, and some of them are just users and destroyers. That's what I've heard. I really don't know too much about them. I don't really want to, you know.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity, though, to just kind of look behind that curtain. You know, that you've lived with the person you believe was a reptilian, and your niece, of course, having that experience too. And I think that to me would suggest that it's, you know, they're somehow intertwined with you, whether intentionally just because you were part of the family and all of that, and they, you know, it was an emotional attachment, or if there's some other purpose, you know, that maybe they wanted to infiltrate your family for whatever reason. And it's just so curious, you know, it just has my mind reeling.
Yeah, there's a couple things I know about the family that I can share later.
Okay.
But yeah, you're pretty right on about that. I think it might even be a very old, ancient part of my family's history.
Gotcha. Okay. That's
yeah.
very interesting. Very cool.
We're Native American. I have family that's actually Mexican, Indian, Aztec.
Okay.
But I think they've infiltrated most of the races, you know, different parts of the world.
Sure.
Yeah, it kind of scares me. I would not want to see another one laying in my bed. It's bad enough I had a ghost laying in my bed the other night, who I found out it was after all. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I know that one of my nephews was an artist. Also, I'll share this with you. He did the strangest piece, and he actually died when he was about 20. Aww. And so this picture, my mom took a picture of this art that he did, and I wish I could have gotten the original. But in the picture, he's sitting, and behind him is this car that had just wrecked into a wall, into a brick wall. So it was like an accident happened. And he was sitting, and he had split his image down the center, and on one side it was his face, and on the other side it was a reptilian. Oh, wow. And I found that really amazing and very interesting. And my mom said, look at this. Yeah. Because my mom was very open and spiritual and intuitive and all that. And she says, look at this. Why would he draw this? And I just looked at her. I go, I don't know, Mom. Wow. Maybe that's him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo, and this is my brother's kid, you know, so I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is really scary when I think about it, you know, but my nephew was a beautiful, beautiful soul. So all I can say is if he was part reptilian, he was a good one, you know.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know.
That's the thing, is that, you know, your experience with them, it seems to be a pretty beautiful thing in that respect, and that, you know, they, for whatever reason, they liked you, and that's a good thing, I think, especially if you're dealing with a race that's obviously very advanced to us, you know, and what their potential would be, you know, who only knows. But you know, I guess if they're going to be here, they might as well like us. That'd be just fine.
Yeah, I did some research on them, and it's real interesting. And it's sometimes I use my discretion to see which feels correct, you know, what information that I read that feels correct. And that's what I do anyway with all my spiritual or all my endeavors reading about, like Sasquatch or,
Sure.
whatever happens, ghosts and UFOs.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I might read more on it. I might try to find some other people that people don't like to talk about it. I haven't been able to find anybody that's experienced things like me.
Right.
And one person a while ago, this was a while ago, he asked me a little bit about it because he wanted to meet one. And I said, I would be careful because not all of them are good. And he was, some people are out there, I got to find it. I got to document it. And that's how he was.
Oh.
And so I kind of stopped talking to him because I thought, well, if they want to reveal themselves, they will.
Yeah. 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 You don't want to drag that energy into your life too. Yeah.
No.
Your life is already plenty busy.
The negative one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I really thank you because I think it's a very brave thing to come forward and to talk about these things and to share them to our audience. And I really thank you for that because I think you're in the right place to be talking about this kind of stuff. I know I appreciate it and I find it incredibly interesting and incredibly compelling to learn more. And, I have no doubt, what you say you've experienced.
Yeah. It was hard for me to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for letting me tell the story. I usually don't talk about it too much, but kind of feels good to get it off my chest.
Excellent.
Thank you for sharing it with us, and please call in anytime. It's great to hear from you, Ruthie.
Oh, I sure will. Thank you, you guys.
Okay, good night.
Thank
Good night.
you. Good night.
That's wonderful.
Cool.
And
Interesting.
it is, and it really ties into all that other stuff. It's really, really incredible stuff. But now we also know the phones work.
Yes, they actually do.
That's the first call we've had since they've been functioning. So hopefully they'll continue to function. But let's continue on our journey here into the paranormal portal. And I've got bunches more. I don't know how much we're going to be able to get to, but I found this is an interesting article here. And where is it? What did I have this for? Oh, yeah, that's just one of them. Okay. This is kind of interesting because, the whole idea of UFO encounters is kind of built on a lot of people, especially critics, make it about pop culture and about B movies in the 50s and stuff that kind of spawned this awareness of UFOs and stuff. But, other people say, no, this stuff has been going on forever. There's the ancient astronaut theories and, of course, the paintings that depict what looked to be UFO craft in the air. Cave paintings with aliens and stuff on them. So obviously this is not a new phenomenon, but here's another example of what might be a great ancient reference to the people of Egypt being very well aware of the UFOs. And let me get it up on screen. This is coming from Unsolved Are Mysteries. Mysteries Are Unsolved, rather. And it's an ancient Egyptian papyrus described a massive UFO encounter. And, of course, there's the prevailing theory among many enthusiasts that ancient Egypt was actually built by these extraterrestrial people due to the incredible engineering achievement that the pyramids on Giza were and so many more. So let's see what this says. It says, many depictions of flying craft have been found across the globe, characterized in different ways. Some were beaked. What the hell is beaked appearances? Maybe it's, visages, maybe. Okay, others had round or spherical shape. That is also known today. Some were red, resembled a circle of fire, while others were yellow and were spitting fire. But most of the mainstream scientists contradict these depictions, considering the ancient Earth dwellers primitive and with a skeptical way of thinking. Relative sightings such as these were with too much enthusiasm or calling it nothing more than a massive hysteria or a mass hysteria. However, the ancient Egyptians were renowned for their advanced understanding and techniques, also for their knowledge of astronomy, which was very advanced compared to that ancient period, and a shred of interesting evidence concerning the UFO encounters of the past is the Tulli papyrus. Tulli, T-U-L-L-I, papyrus. As, at least according to many enthusiasts in the field, it's an ancient text telling of great flying machineries spitting fire, which scouted the Egyptian sky. It says scouted, I wonder if it means scoured, the Egyptian sky before vanishing into outer space. Though many researchers have denied the document's authenticity, meaning which would otherwise change our current history as we know it, or at least add an impressive fact about otherworldly extraterrestrial beings. The strange event of the Thule Papyrus. Did ancient Egyptians encounter a UFO? The event cited in the Thule Papyrus was witnessed by an Egyptian pharaoh, Thutmose III, who afterwards ordered the scribes to write about this event in the annals of life so that it may be remembered for all time forward. The strange occurrence happened around 1480 BC and was witnessed by the entire Egyptian army. Wow. This is a copy of the Thule Papyrus, apparently. It says, here's the translated text from the mysterious papyrus. In the year 22, in the 3rd month of winter, in the 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the House of Life noticed a circle of fire that was coming from the sky. From the mouth it emitted a foul breath. It had no head. Its body was 1 rod long and 1 rod wide. It had no voice. And from that, the hearts of the scribes became confused, and they threw themselves down on their bellies. Then they reported the thing to the Pharaoh, and his majesty ordered something, and was meditating on what had happened, that it was recorded in the scrolls of the House of Life. Some proportions of the papyrus are erased or barely interpreted, but the majority of the text is accurate enough to let us understand that what happened during this mystical day. The rest of the text is as follows. Now, after some days has passed, the things became more and more numerous in the sky, their splendor exceeding that of the sun and extended to the limits of the 4 angles of the sky. High and wide in the sky was the position from which these fire circles came and went. The army of the Pharaoh looked on with him in their midst. It was after supper. Then these fire circles ascended higher into the sky, and they were headed towards the south. Fish and birds then fell from the sky, a marvel never before seen since the foundation of their land. The Pharaoh caused incense to be brought to make peace with earth, and what happened was ordered to be written in the annals of the House of Life, so that it be remembered for all time forward. If it was true, then this document presents a very important segment of time in human history when the UFOs made their presence noticed to thousands of people from ancient Egypt, including their ruler, even though the text doesn't mention anything about a ground or physical contact with the strange flying object or beings. It describes a unique encounter which ended mysteriously as fish and birds fell from the sky when the object left. The ancient Egyptians probably saw this as a divine wonder, a sign of great importance, and at the same time, great power over life and death. In present days, events like this are not a wonder anymore, and that's why we believe the cause of death of the depicted animals occurred as a result of the flying saucers' emissions or maybe sonar waves. Whatever the case, we can interpret the strange death as a result of advanced technology, adding more credibility to the Danakinian fact that there were indeed advanced extraterrestrial beings. That's right? I read it right.
Yeah.
Who were constantly visiting or most probably guarding ancient Egypt as well as the whole world in the ancient time, but for what? Unfortunately, the original Thule Papyrus has been lost or is in the hideout. Only copies remain. Yeah, probably. When researcher Samuel Rosenberg requested a chance to study the original document from the Vatican, he received the following answer.
Gosh.
The Papyrus Thule is not the property of the Vatican Museum, and now it is dispersed and no more traceable. It is speculated the Vatican holds some of the most viable documents regarding human history. If this is the case, it's understandable why they choose not to reveal this papyrus of great importance. Further attempts to study the Thule Papyrus have been made, but without success. An inquiry was sent to Dr. Walter Ramberg, scientist working for the U.S. Embassy in Rome, who replied, the current director of the Egyptian sector of the Vatican Museum, Dr. Noli, said that Professor Thule had left all of his belongings to a brother of his who is a priest at the Lateran Palace. Presumably, the famous papyrus went to this priest. I doubt that. Unfortunately, the priest died also in the meantime, and his belongings were dispersed among heirs, who may have disposed of the papyrus as something of little value. It's unlikely that the Vatican let a document of such importance slip away from their hands, but presuming it did, we can only hope that someone stumbles upon it in an antique shop like its previous owner, Alberto Tulli, did. Controversy over the authenticity of the Tulli papyrus. There's a heated controversy over the claim that the papyrus Tulli is a transcription of an Egyptian papyrus dating from the reign of Thutmose III. The claim originated in a 1953 article published in Doubt, the Fortean Society magazine, by Tiffany Thayer. According to Thayer, the description was sent to him by Boris de Rochewiltz, or something, who supposedly found the original transcription of the papyrus among papers left by Alberto Tulli, a deceased Vatican museum director. References to circles of fire or fiery discs already allegedly contained in the translations have been misinterpreted in UFO and Fortean literature as evidence of flying saucers, ancient flying saucers, although ufologists Jacques Vallée and Chris Albeck have described it as a hoax. According to Vallée and Albeck, since Tulli had supposedly copied it during a single viewing of the original papyrus using an ancient Egyptian shorthand, and de Rochewiltz had never seen the original, the alleged text likely contained transcription errors, making it impossible to verify. While author Eric von Daniken included the Tulli papyrus in his speculations of ancient visitations by extraterrestrials, in the 1968 Condon report, Samuel Rosenberg reported that it was likely that Tulli was taken in and that the papyrus was a fake. Rosenberg cited that the Tulli papyrus is an example of stories circulating among UFO book authors, taken from secondary and tertiary sources, without any attempt to verify original sources, and concluded that all accounts of UFO-like sightings handed down through the ages are doubtful until verified. Well, isn't that convenient?
That's very Vatican.
That's very Vatican. That is so Vatican. Oh my God.
Gosh, oh my gosh. Thank you, Nancy G.
What'd she do?
She did a super chat.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
anytime you put the Vatican and into a story like this, it's pretty much like saying, we kept them at the Smithsonian.
Yeah, right next to the giant bones.
The giant bones.
Let me go look.
We dumped them in the Atlantic, we think.
We filed them in the circular file. Yeah, it's unfortunate because so much has been buried and so much has been hidden. And there's so much truth out there, allegedly, that we might learn from. And God only knows if we could maybe correct some mistakes that were made in the past. Now,
correct some mistakes.
Here's a time anomaly article from Mysteries Are Unsolved Done. And this is one I'm a little nervous to say because there's a YouTube keyword in there that might get me smoked. But I'll have to try to figure out how to say it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I can say this word without tripping up the algorithm and getting us flagged for something.
Well, there's really no way to say it without being pointed.
Okay, I think I've got it. All right,
Okay.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I have to do this carefully because we are a YouTube show as well as TFR. And unfortunately, one of the words in this article is a known trigger word to the algorithm to get your show smoked or at least give you a bunch of trouble. So I'm going to try to do this in such a fashion as I don't use that word because, of course, I'm not glamorizing any of that horrible atrocities, nor am I, making any personal claims in this. I'm just reading an article, so please understand. But here it is. This is from Mysteries Are Unsolved as well. It's proof of parallel universe. Did Bad Guys of World War II coin from 2039 in Mexico sparks the bizarre theories. For a long time, alternative universes have been used as a plot for a novel or simply a story for a movie. Oh my God, we don't even have time. We got one more break coming up in literally a minute. But there are many who wonder what their life would be like in a parallel universe, or if there's an alternative version of themselves in another dimension for what scientists have spent time investigating the potential or alternative realities for decades. And I'm going to leave it there because folks are going to come back from the break and we'll get into the rest of this article. Is there possible proof of alternate dimensions and timelines out there? So we'll see what it says. This is a new one to me. I never heard about it before I found this article, but it sounds interesting, so don't go away. And I would just like to remind everybody, if you're listening on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, to stick around afterwards, because Paisley Wild will be coming up with the Spaces Between next. And, of course, that's always a good time. So she also simulcasts her show on YouTube, youtube.com/spacesbetween. So if you want to check that out, always some good information to be found there. So we're going to go to our last break, and then we'll be into the last half hour of the show. So please don't go away. We'll be right back. If you're not already subscribed, get subscribed, hit the notification bell, like the stream, and we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes for the last half hour of the show. Don't go away. ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This last half hour is upon us, so we will be getting into the rest of that article that I just teased before the break. And more, depending on where we end up with this. I don't think this one will take a whole long time, but talking about a mysterious coin from the year 2039 that appeared in Mexico. And it's apparently a coin that would suggest the bad guys from World War II won, which isn't the case, obviously. So I don't know what's going on here, but let's figure out what the rest of the article has to say. All right, let me get to the page. Here we go. It says, over the years, scientists have exposed multiple theories, some of which have real evidence to back them up. So if any of these theories is correct, there's a universe somewhere different from ours, but one of the most popular theories of the alternative universe is string theory. According to this theory, we live in a multiverse of 9 dimensions, with only 3 dimensions visible to us. Since we only exist in 3 dimensions, our universe would look flat like a sheet of paper. On the other hand, since we only exist in 3 dimensions, it look flat? Oh. On the other hand, the way in which the other dimensions would expand would be along with the timelines and possible situations. That said, alternative universes of our world could be almost identical or totally different. However, it's only about theories. But what will happen if someone discovers evidence of the existence of parallel universes? A video posted to YouTube in April 2018 shows a man who claims to have discovered a bad guy from World War II coin, apparently from the year of 2039. There's a video that would be linked normally below this, but the Brave browser cut it off. But if anybody's interested in the article, I can post it if you want to check out that video. And it says the bad guy from World War II coin from the year 2039. And there is a picture of it, so let me put it out there. Those of you on YouTube can, of course, see it, but I want to get it out there for Bam and Nightshade over in TFR so you guys can check it out. Now, it could just be a forgery, obviously, or some other ridiculousness, but obviously, with that taken for granted, what if it's real? What if that's possible? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. It does seem to show some pretty significant wear on it, as if it's been there for a long time. But it said apparently the mysterious coin was found by Diego Aviles in a work in Mexico. And Aviles explains that what caught his attention was when he read the inscriptions and saw the year 2039. Just above the imprinted year is the Reichsadler symbol, along with the words Nueva Alemania, which translates to New Germany. The flip side of the coin features the writing Allies in Einer Nation, which means all in one nation, a motto which would perfectly serve a country that has dominated the world. In Mexico, there's a state called Nueva Alemania, located in the municipality of La Concordia in the state of Chiapas, but it is known that there is no record of the arrival of any bad guys from World War II currency. As the video went viral on the internet, many conspiracy theorists have claimed that this future bad guy from World War II coin is a solid proof of the existence of a parallel universe. Another section of conspiracy theorists argued that Germany will be a key player in World War III. They also added that the bad guys from World War II who are living secretly in Antarctica will join Germany in the war, helping them to triumph in World War III. Others argued that it is a coin of an alternative future where the bad guys from World War II conquered the world, developed time travel, and sent money back to the past where certain currencies ended up in our reality. Is it really a coin from the future world? In the first place, there's no way of knowing if the year 2039 is written on the coin, at least not with the images provided. The number 39 is clear, but it could be the year 1939. In fact, the silver 2 Reichsmark and 5 Reichsmark coins with the bad guy from World War II swastika were issued between 1938 and 1939. Then it's a coin, a silver coin supposedly from the year 2039. If it were an electronic device or electronic currency, there would be some strong basis in the claim. However, we are talking about a nation that has managed to achieve travel over time and continue to use silver as a currency in the year 2039 isn't much acceptable. I do want to go back up to that image. I don't know. I can clearly see it looks like a 2, and then there does look like a 0. That doesn't look like a 9.
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like there's enough space for that.
There's actually a you can find on Etsy, believe it or not, you can find altered coins.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Etsy,
right.
And
that are supposed to be like alien coins and stuff, right?
They could be a lot.
They take buffalo-headed nickels and make the Native American gray. Yeah.
Who knows what that really is? I mean,
that's true.
They can do it. It can be done.
It can be. So. You're right. And I don't know. I mean, I do a little bit of coin collecting, but nothing to any degree. I don't know. I would have to see what the original ones from 1939 look like. See if it's a match. I mean, with what you can see, you can clearly make out the symbol and something saying Mark, and then the same symbol that was on top of the Reichstag or whatever, with the eagle over the emblem. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's compelling. It's possible. Everything's possible, of course, folks, and that'll always be my stance here. There's of course times when I have judgments on these things and have opinions on them, but I got to tell you that I always like to keep an open mind because we just don't know. The bottom line is we just don't know everything that's out there. I mean, I've throughout the course of doing the show, I've talked to hundreds of people, thousands maybe, probably hundreds though, that have told me things that I didn't think were possible. But I heard the sound of their voice, and at the very least, I know they believe what they're telling me.
Right.
Or at least I believe they believe what they're telling me. Now, some people maybe want to get a moment of recognition, and that's okay. I understand that, but, I can't be sure. But I do try to vet the information that's put on the show because, I do have a very big vested interest in the integrity of the show. Like, I don't want this to be a weekly world news or some other trash receptacle for anybody's wild fascinations or constructs of a story. But I don't know. Here's another one that's pretty interesting. This is, I don't know if this, I've not seen the source images from NASA or whatever, but this is apparently part of a NASA cover-up, which many people in our communities and other communities like conspiracy communities agree is a possibility. Maybe it is. Maybe there is a very active efforts to make sure people don't know the truth of what's going on. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it matters, but there must be a reason. Maybe it empowers a certain narrative, whereas something else might disempower a certain narrative. But this article is from UFOholic.com, and it's trees spotted on Mars reveal massive NASA cover-up. So I haven't seen this. Let me get this link copied for TFR. Quick copy and put it over here so that you guys can see it over there. See, I thought that was 2039 too, Nightshade, but the article seemed to say there's no way to tell, but that looked like at least a 0 and 39 to me, but I could be wrong. It looked like it had the potential of being a 2 that's very scribbled out. But anyway, no way to know. The real question is metallurgical testing, but if it's just silver, it's silver. I don't know if there would be a way to if it is silver, then it's silver.
Would there be a way, because they can trace like uranium to the exact mine that it came out of.
Sure.
So I don't know if you can do that with silver, but
maybe there's ways, or by some trace minerals.
We have our ways.
We have ways of making you understand. All right, trees spotted on Mars reveal massive NASA cover-up. So is this possible? Maybe. Let's see what it says. There is a video. I guess, I don't really want to show that, but let's see what it says. The intriguing picture has been publicly available for some time now and has been subject of a debate ever since it was published in the University of Arizona site. Wow. Okay, so there's some credibility to it. Ever since it began circulating in the internet in 2010, scientists have proposed different theories as to what the mysterious formations present in the picture could be. The official explanation, however, is not sufficient enough to please the UFO community that, after thoroughly analyzing the presented material, reached a contrary conclusion to the scientific community. So what's so unusual about the NASA picture, you might ask? Well, let's start with what the UFO community has to say about this. The highlighted picture shows bizarre areas over the arid dunes of Mars. When zooming in on the anomalies, their features become clearer, revealing a strong resemblance to the trees found on Earth. There are also silver areas around them, which analysts consider to be the remnants of frozen water embedded on the surface. If proven to be true, this fact should explain how the alleged trees got to grow on the surface of the planet. Opinions are now split between the two communities as science refers to the anomalous dark lines as dark streaks of material running down the side of the sand dunes due to carbon dioxide frost evaporation. NASA also admits to altering the picture so that the dark streaks appear more prominent. But can the scientific community be trusted with this explanation? I want to look at it again. Is that just carbon dioxide on the landscape? I don't know, maybe. It's hard to know, but anyway, let's continue. According to various analysts, the strong resemblance between the dark patches and trees is a clear indicator of life still evolving on the Martian terrain. They now believe that NASA is once again covering this up for unclear reasons. Their claims are fueled by a recent event in which the renowned space agency announced the presence of liquid water on Mars after at least a decade after its discovery. The multitude of bizarre artifacts spotted on the red planet is another reason why some people consider the trust in official explanations to be an unhealthy practice. To further dismiss the tree speculation as pure nonsense, skeptics have wondered about all the dead leaves that are seemingly missing from the picture, but at the same time, they have provided an answer to their question. Understanding that Mars used to have the right conditions for life to develop the distant past is the first step, and presuming that this habitable past hasn't been as far as they want us to believe may provide the next answer. In other words, the alleged trees may lack the leaves on both the branches and the ground because they are already dead, with the wind scattering any visible leaf traces across the vast Martian dunes, blending them with the sand. And if this proves to be correct, then life on Mars may have ended sooner rather than later, and there is countless evidence to support this hypothesis. YouTube user Thor has brought more evidence supporting the Martian trees hypothesis. He asserted that there are almost identical geographic formations in the tundra of Siberia. Now there is unequivocal proof that high salinity liquid water does exist on Mars. It's guaranteed that the geological and meteorological processes that cause these formations on Earth are replicated on the surface of Mars too. There's ample evidence to support both community claims, leaving room for plenty of speculation. It remains up to the open-minded people to filter the information and eventually reach their own conclusions.
So they're pictures of Siberia. Because he says they look exactly like Siberia.
Well, I think he means in the features.
Well,
I don't think that he was implying that these are Siberian pictures.
People think that the moon landing was filmed by Stanley Kubrick in the basement of his LA house.
In a big basement.
He did.
Big basement, Mr. Kubrick, if that's the case. And maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know. But these are the photos.
Yeah, I'm not convinced they're trees per se, but
right.
But I mean, they may be like Lorax type trees, Dr. Seuss kind of stuff, I don't
Maybe they don't have leaves. Maybe they have another way. Maybe they're the weird bark that photosynthesizes. Maybe. I mean, they're Martian, right? They're not from here. They don't have to follow our rules.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe they got a different way of producing photosynthesis.
Their physics works differently.
Well, just that life finds its way, but
that's true.
The ways are different.
Chaos theory.
Absolutely. I really do believe that, though. Look at the examples all around us, But I think that's an interesting article. I don't know what you guys think. First of all, do you believe NASA? Do you believe that NASA is a credible and reliable source of information regarding what's going on in the cosmos around us?
So far, we've talked about the Vatican, NASA, and I've mentioned the Smithsonian at least twice.
Exactly, and that's what that's impressive. That's impressive, and the tune of the Twilight Zone come to mind. Talk about transplanting from planetary body to another. That's an interesting thought. I wonder if, well, I mean, if I don't know how long they've been dead, if there is any viable seeds possibly gatherable from that area. If they are indeed trees, is there a way to get a genetic sample of it and replicate that here at home? I don't know.
Sure,
and would you want to?
Sure, there's a way to get her. We've got a rover on Mars right now.
I know, but they're not bringing stuff back.
Well,
that's
true, but they have it has a little lab on it that can do the thing.
Yeah, drive the rover over there. Let's put that to rest.
Yeah, drover.
Give the rover over there. I'm not sure what this little thing is here. But, I turned it down.
Sounds like my head.
Right. It's publicly available for some time and has been subject to much debate. University of Arizona. So this is just paraphrasing the article. I just wondered if they had any other article or pictures. There are also silver areas around, which analysts consider to be remains of frozen water embedded on the surface. Interesting. It's proven to be true. This fact should explain how the alleged trees got to grow on the surface of the planet. Yeah. It's the same thing, just more graphically explained that we just read.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's very possible. I do believe Mars was once booming with life, teeming with life. I know the strange scarring on the side of the planet of Mars has raised lots of debates, too, of what caused that. Was that a collision with another?
Bombardment.
I've heard of the electricity theory, like if another celestial body came close, could it have arced and caused these scars on the side of Mars? And I don't pretend to know much about it, but apparently that's been wildly discounted by scientists. But of course it has. Any other claim, of course, it's been disclaimed and discounted by scientists. But I think it's interesting all the same. There's just so much we don't know. I mean, just think about all that we don't know about our own planet that we're living on right now. All the things that could exist around us at any given time. And that article is great, talking about the dimensions with the coin that was discovered. So we are existing in 3 dimensions. I think we are multidimensional, though. I don't think we only exist in the 3 dimensions we're aware of. I think we exist in all of them by some degree, or at least a connection. But I think that's, where was I going with this? I don't remember. It's just, it has to do with possibilities, though, I guess is what I'm saying. Is what else is going on in those other dimensions that are surrounding us that we don't know? Is it completely different places? Are they another level of the reality we're existing in now? Or are they absolutely different experiences and conditions going on that would be completely foreign to us? And I don't know what the answer is, but I find it very interesting. Very interesting. So,
very interesting.
As always on the show, I encourage you all to shape your own theories around this, because you're not going to get any straight answers from anybody, because we're surrounded with wild speculations, some hypotheses, some maybe facts on some level to build on. But for the most part, nobody knows. Nobody knows this stuff, and that's why every opinion is just as valid as every other one. I think there's a lot to know. I'm really glad there's 59 of you out here watching us. It's great to see so many people coming in. The show actually starts at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, though, so the first hour is really quiet, but I'm glad more of you showed up, because, it's always fun. It's always fun to see new faces and new names. Don, why don't you do some shout-outs, though?
Shout-outs. If you want to get a shout-out in YouTube, you better participate, because I won't say the name. So far, we have Mr. Cookie Jarvis, Crow Creek Cryptids. We like him. He's a good guy. Dawson J. Eliza is a new name to me. There's Ethan. There's Gnome Squatch. How you doing? M-Cat's here. Mary Bond, Nessie Monster. Ruthie, of course. Soul Stay just popped in. The Paranormal Reporter, The Unknown. Aussie Tiger just popped in. Brother That You Love to Hate just popped in as well, or at least started chatting again. Miss Cha-Cha is not here conspicuously. Titan and The Unknown. Did I miss anybody? Well, J-Saw. There you go. That's a new one as well. So some new names in there for me. Hi, how are you?
How are you, everybody?
You know what? Sean just popped in too. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
And Justin Goodearth. He's been here.
Jim Gwynn,
yes.
Jim Gwynn's
True.
here.
Where's Gemini Moon at? I haven't seen her in forever.
She was here last night.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in the chat last night, I'm sure. Yeah, she was here.
So shout outs to you. Did I say Nessie? I need to make sure I said Nessie.
Well, you did now for sure.
Okay, there you go. El Shark Diablo, the Shark Devil. Nice.
The devil shark.
Must be a luchadores.
I don't know what that means.
Masked wrestlers. It's got a picture of a masked wrestler, unless that's Wolverine. I don't know. It just looks like a little tiny dot to me.
Okay. Well, it's great to see you guys, and thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. But we're down to about 5 minutes left, if you can believe that. My God. The time, it just flies.
Sean says, I lurk, I don't always speak. Well, we know that, but we're glad you're here.
Absolutely. It's good to see you guys, and thank you all for being here. I'm just looking for something quick and little to fill the last few minutes with, because we cooked through it.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, do you got something?
I do, yeah. Something not too quick, not too long.
Okay.
So apparently, according to the Irish Examiner, Irish people report more UFOs than our European neighbors. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Irish people report more UFO sightings than any other nation in Europe in the last year. There are 105 sightings lasting an average of 13 minutes. The data, analyzed by PsychicWorld.com, was gathered from the National UFO Reporting Center. So there's New Force again, which happens to be based like 60 miles west of us.
Sure.
Where eagle-eyed stargazers can report sightings of unexplained objects in the sky. Irish people mainly reported unexplainable bright lights, which were described as red, white, or blue. That's interesting. Rob O'Sullivan, science communicator at the Blackrock Castle Observatory in Cork, said that it's not surprising that Ireland has the highest number of sightings. We have some of the clearest skies in Europe, so as a result, we see more due to less light pollution. So beam me up, Scotty. More come to the dark side, Luke. Highly illogical? Apparently not. According to O'Sullivan, most of these sightings have a logical explanation. Go figure. Leave it to the scientists.
Mylar balloons.
Aircraft are often mistaken for UFOs, as Ireland is under a busy flight path between the United States and Europe. Chinese lanterns are also common, apparently, in Ireland. They can go up so high they can catch fire and drop suddenly, and creates quite an erratic movement. Mr. O'Sullivan says that more recently, drones are more often mistaken for UFOs. Meteor showers are another explanation. Now it looks like they're reaching for anything.
Yeah.
Venus is often mistaken for a UFO. It's so bright in the sky, even though it's not moving, it can play tricks on your eyes. People could tell us all the time they saw UFOs and what direction they were facing. Then we can point out Venus at the same point in the sky. While none of these UFO sightings have officially been confirmed, he didn't rule out the possibility that there is life in outer space. It doesn't mean that there aren't alien civilizations. There are millions upon millions of galaxies out there. The Drake equation stipulates that there is a reasonable chance that there is other life out there. Of this life, there is probably at least one civilization that is advanced enough to pilot a spacecraft. However, it would be very difficult for those life forms to make contact with us. You're talking light years away, so it would take them thousands of years to travel close to our system. If you're going to that effort, you'd think you'd pop in. So there you go. So apparently the Irish people have really nice skies, or they're just,
Maybe they're more welcoming.
That might be true.
They got the Irish eyes. They're smiling.
Well, it's said that God created beer so the Irish wouldn't take over the world, right? Just
Never
FYI.
heard that.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I didn't get that
That's what
copy
I was-
of the Bible. Didn't
That's what
have that
I've heard.
page. Oh my God! Well, there you have it, folks. We're just all out of time now. But hello to No Name and Wanda. Both of you popped in, and anyone else that I'm missing that just popped up. But it's great to see you guys here. Thanks for coming over and being a part of our journey. Please get subscribed. Hit the notification bells. But you'll find us broadcasting live from Sunday night. From Wednesday night through Sunday night. Live right here on our YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Whatever that means to you in your time. Well, just so you know, we'll be here. But again, Brent Don, thanks for the great show. Thank you, Titan. Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much.
That doesn't say no name. It says my name.
Huh?
You said hi, no name. It's my name.
Oh.
His name is their name is my name.
Oh, that's
Their name is my name too.
My name. Yeah, sorry, my name. Sorry about that. That's me and my personal dyslexia with names. I did get the name part right, which is better than most.
Yeah, well, there you go. You got 4 of the 7 letters correct.
Yeah,
6
I'll
letters.
I'll take every win I get. So, remember to stick around for Paisley Wild coming up next on TFR iHeart. Tune in and TalkStream Live. You can catch her show on YouTube as well on youtube.com/the spaces between.
The spaces between.
There's the bell, folks. That means Don. Anything quickly?
Teespring.
Teespring.com. Check out the link in the description on YouTube for Paranormal Portal gear. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to smile and laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.
Censorship